Disturbing facts from history, fact or fiction? It's Tinfoil Tuesday.
So if you like exposing truth and dropping truth bombs, then welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday.
I want the truth!
Well, a big Shazam, it's Tinfoil Tuesday. I'm out there, I go through the internet, I see all of these history websites, and regularly, especially on the social media side, they'll say, hey, here's some disturbing facts from history. They get a lot of traction, and often I go, is that really true? The internet is riddled with lies. I'm gonna give you a ton of them right now. I've deep dived each of these, fact or fiction, here on Tinfoil Tuesday. Up first, people talk about this a lot. It's Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup. It's from the early 1800s, mid 19th century, and it was marketed for children that were crying or teething, and it's Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup. And apparently it worked. Why did it work? It's full of morphine. Y'all know that. They used to give kids morphine, and people today are still collecting the bottles. This one, 100% fact. This one gets talked about a lot. This is the movie by Howard Hughes starring John Wayne called The Conqueror, where John Wayne, no joke, plays Genghis Khan. It is possibly, that could be the question of the day, is it John Wayne's worst movie? I've never seen it. My understanding is it was a disaster, and not just on the silver screen, it was a disaster, but that movie actually killed John Wayne. And people talk about this in that when they were doing testing of the atomic bombs out in the desert, it blew over onto the set out in the desert, and it ended up giving radiation poisoning, not just to John Wayne, but to a lot of the crew. This one right here gets passed around a lot. John Wayne is Genghis Khan in The Conqueror, filmed in the Utah desert. And it goes on and says that that is what killed him. Yeah, probably. It looks like it might be. Here is the book, Who Nuked the Duke? Atomic Testing and the Fallout Behind RKO's John Wayne Epic, The Conqueror by John William Law. You can chase it. Looks like it's probably true. It's certainly not good to be out there in the desert when all that stuff is blowing over. Up next, I just found this one yesterday, and I kind of like it. It's kind of interesting. It's called The Green Children of Woolpit. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the tale is back in the 12th century in Suffolk, England, in the village of Woolpit or Woolpit, two children came wandering out of the woods wearing odd clothing, and they were green. And it's pretty well documented. I'm going to call this one fact. The cause is certainly up for debate. There's a lot of mythology around it, but two children did come into this village. They were green colored. One of them passed away. The other one ended up eating an English diet, and her skin tone ended up going back to normal. I don't know. It's green children wandering out of the woods. Probably a fact. This next one is super dark. Some of y'all know about this. It is called the United Fruit Company, and this was over on Reddit. VF41 says, hey, the United Fruit Company controlled Central and South American politics into the 1990s. And this fruit company, both in Central and South America, they control politics, and we're talking some dark stuff. The United Fruit Company today is known as Dole. Dole was actually in charge of and creating all sorts of turmoil in Central and South America. That one is fact. Next, this one says, George Washington never knew dinosaurs existed as George died in 1799, and the first dinosaur fossil was discovered in 1824. Yeah, I mean, that one gets a little woolly, as in woolly mammoth, womp womp, in that there's a lot of questions of what dinosaurs are and how they put the bones together. Yeah, that was not a thing back then. And so that one's true, but I'm going to put an asterisk next to it in that it was true, but that's not what those folks back then were worried about. And in fact, to say, hey, dinosaurs exist even today, to say, hey, they used to exist, there's a lot of questions about that. Yeah, there was big bones and stuff, but the way they've been assembled and the mythology around, a lot of question marks here on a Tuesday. Next, this one gets passed around a lot. Why? Because little white girls love Joan of Arc because she was a rebel. Joan of Arc's only formal charge for her execution was because she wore men's clothing as it was more efficient. False, 100% false. Little girls like talking about this. These are the same little girls that glorify that doofus that moved up to Alaska, wandered around, and then starved to death in a VW bus. And they're like, wow, it's so amazing. It's not that amazing. Lots of formal charges. I chased this one all the way back to all sorts of French stuff that I couldn't read. But yeah, we're talking about heresy and demonology and hearing voices and then unrepenting from her heresy. And it's not good, but it certainly had very little to do with the fact that she wore pants, though little girls like talking about it. Next, Marilyn Monroe's tomb is next to Hugh Hefner, who used nude photos of her for the Playboy magazine without her consent. He paid $75,000 to be next to her for all of eternity. This one is fact. In the 90s, Hugh Hefner paid a lot of money, $75K, to be entombed right next to her. There it is. Hugh Hefner died in 2017. Marilyn Monroe in 1962. A lot of questions about her death. Interesting. All right, saw this one on one of the same pages next. Humans made it to the moon only 66 years after the Wright brothers successfully performed a controlled human flight. Allegedly, there's some other talk about who actually was the first, but in Kitty Hawk, the two brothers put together a model aircraft and sailed it, and 66 years later, humans went to the moon.
Bullshit?
Today's episode is brought to you by blackoutcoffee.com/Johnny B. Hey, do me a favor, type it out, but when you get there, pick out what you want. Do you want flavored or traditional? Do you want whole bean? Do you want ground? Do you want the pods? They got you covered. You're going to love yours. Get buzzed up like I do when you type out blackoutcoffee.com/Johnny B. If you look in the description, there's a coupon code down there, blackoutcoffee.com/Johnny B. You people, thanks for every thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow on Wednesday. Just got back from GunCon. It was a lot of fun. Those of y'all that I got to see and take selfies with, thank you. A lot of fun. Shout out comes in from Alf's, and I don't know what the rest of that is. Leaves a tip. Thanks, man. I'll be turning 51 next Tuesday. That's today. That's also the day I leave for a week and a half of fun and adventure in the Dakotas. Can an old retired combat engineer get a shout out? Yes. My name is Dan. I'm thinking instead of the regular memes that get played all the time, a little Mother Nature just Peter Pantsuit from Tropic Thunder in honor of our Army Corps of Engineers. Absolutely. Dan, happy birthday.
Mother Nature just pissed her pantsuit!
Few more for you. Next, Marie Antoinette's dog followed her all the way to her execution. When she was executed, her dog wouldn't stop crying, so they executed the dog too. Very sad story. Funny part about it, it's not true. She may have not even had a dog. We don't know. There's paintings of her with them and etchings of her with them. When I jumped over to TikTok, there's approximately 11 billion morons rattling on about this so sad story, and the movies, the modern movies and stuff will show her with her dog and all this story and mythology about it. I deep dived it from the earliest sources. It looks like it's a complete fabrication. She may have had one when she was little, may not have had one, but certainly the story of it crying and they just had to like put it down. Not true, 100% not true, though little, once again, white girls on TikTok cry about it. Not true at all. Next, the guillotine was still France's official execution method when Star Wars debuted. France's last state-sanctioned guillotine execution was in 1977, the same year Star Wars was released. This one, oh yeah, it's true, the wha-pow. The last one was in 1977. Now, I want to say this real clear. When you chase this, you're going to see different stuff. The last public one was in the 1930s. This one was done behind closed doors. But yeah, 100% 1977, they were still using that thing. I don't know, make them great again is what I have to say. Oof. All right, here's an interesting one, and this one is, I've heard a lot of folks talk about this. The last one, next, beginning in 1917, the U.S. Radium Corporation hired young women to paint watch dials with radioactive paint and told them to shape the brush with their lips. So, boink, boink, then paint it. The company's own chemists used lead screens and tongs. When the women's jowls began disintegrating and they tried to sue, the company hired investigators to discredit them and tried to blame their illness on syphilis. Oh yeah, 100% true. I'm going to say proceed with this one with caution. There's a lot of documentation on this. 100% true, and they used this material, glow in the dark. They called it Undark, a paint containing radium-226, and they were trained to do lip, boing, dip, paint, back, and it didn't go well. You can chase that one with caution, pretty well documented, but shocking that a corporation would blame the women instead of just taking ownership. Not good. 100 years ago, we were dipping paint into our lips, paint. 100 years from now, what will they be saying about us? Which one was your favorite? Which one you call them BS on? I'll see you tomorrow on Hump Wednesday.
Welcome to Tinfoil Tuesday. We hope you sing along.
You want answers?
Diabetes.